Hi, it's Lisa Cuneo, and welcome to my scrapbook table. Today is day 16 for 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. It's also my monthly post for the Beautiful Blossom Challenge design team, and this layout features lots of florals. I'm using a sketch by Ashley at the Scrapping Nerd on YouTube. I have these 3 photos that were taken in the mid-50s. There's the sketch. Big circle, some strips of paper, and 3 pictures. And I will have a link to Ashley's YouTube channel in the description box below. This piece of paper that I cut the circle from is probably the oldest thing in my stash. The date is on the back. It's from 2002. I thought I was also going to use this one from K & Company, but I ended up not. It's probably about as old. Yeah, I was really surprised that the paper was that old, so it was fun to get it used. I didn't want the corners of the paper that I cut from the circle to go to waste, so I did some fussy cutting, and I will use those to create an embellishment cluster on the far left. I inked all the patterned papers on the page with soft suede ink from Stampin' Up. That's one of my favorite browns. I really like this color. I cut 5 or 6 strips of this paper. This is a Stampin' Up paper. I think it was like called bokeh prints or something like that. Anyway, I cut more than I used. I decided I only wanted to use 3 because I didn't want to cover up quite as much of the circle. Plus, putting 3 down gave me a nice edge to tuck these partial flowers underneath. And I really like how that looks. You'll see in a moment here that I pop up the back or the edges of some of these flowers with some foam tape just to give my page a little bit more dimension. These photos are of my mom and my sister and brother and a cousin of ours who lived at our house. This was before I was born, so I never knew her, but when her mother died, she came and lived with my family for a while. And so these are photos. The 2 that are about the same were taken Easter of 1955, and another one was taken sometime in 1954. So I thought the soft flowers in this paper and the wood tone of the wood grain looked nice with these old-fashioned photos. And now I'm thinking where I'm going to put them. I'm pretty sure that title there, the wood grain wood veneer that I'm going to use, even though it's really thick, I like it, and I just decided to go ahead and use it. It says circa, and I know usually circa is followed by a year, but I just thought it went with what I had, so I used it. And I debated for a while of how to preserve my mother's handwriting that's on the back of these photos. I couldn't bear to just mat them and lose that handwriting. I know handwriting on the back of photos is not the best thing for them, but this handwriting of my mom's is precious to me, and I didn't want to cover it up. So I put my thinking cap on, and I decided I was going to use flip flaps, but not in the traditional way. I am just using them to be able to flip the picture over and see what is on the back. And it ended up working out pretty well. So the one flip flap is a 5x7, and I just overlapped the photos a little bit, but it still preserves my mom's handwriting on the back. And they fit in there really nicely, the 2 photos together, just by overlapping a tad. And the other one, for the smaller photo, it doesn't fit, the picture doesn't fit in there perfectly. It's a little too small, but I still think it works out okay. I always struggle to get the little film off of these. I'm just making sure it's where I want it. And there we go. And so that's a different way to use your flip flaps. Now I took some scraps of paper from my bins, greens and browns, and a few different dyes from my drawer, and cut a bunch of different fern leafy type things just to add some interest to my clusters here. There's going to be some beneath the title. There's going to be some on the far left where that main embellishment cluster is. And you can see that I also have a fussy cut corner in the bottom right. I add some there as well. So I'm just debating here where I'm going to put these. It took me a while to decide where to start gluing, but once I did, it was fine. I just kept layering till I liked what I had. And I don't have you watch all of that. That took quite a while. Pardon me, I'm sorry for coughing. I am trying to get over some sort of respiratory thing, and my asthma has kicked up a lot, and I'm just having trouble talking, so I'm going to do the best I can here. It was good to use up a bunch of scraps to cut these leaves, and I cut way more leafy pieces than I needed, so I'm just going to put those in a Ziploc bag and store them where my dies are. Next time I need some leaves, maybe I can just pull them out of here and I won't need to cut new ones. In the upper right corner, you'll see that I have a container of sequins there from Picket Fence Studios. I ended up not using them. I don't know. I just kind of felt like they were a little too flashy for this, but I'm not sure. I may, at some point tomorrow, add a few, because there are some in that collection that are not very shiny. They're more of a matte wood grain look, but I'm gonna sit on that for a while before I decide. Some of these dies are from Altenew, some are from Sizzix, and some, well, the other ones are from Sizzix also. That one I'm putting down right now is from Altenew. There we go. It's a layered leaf, so there's a solid leaf underneath and then a more delicate overlay. There, I'm doing another one. I think I have 3 of those on this page, maybe 4. It's a really intricate, pretty little leaf. And then I have some that are just kind of spiky. I don't even know what you would call them, but they look leafy and like foliage, so that's what I went with. I did gut the wood grain paper that's the background, thinking I was going to use it as photo mats, but then I ended up coming up with a solution that didn't involve photo mats, so I stuck it in my drawer. I did mull over like putting it behind the one flip flap to kind of create a frame around the flip flap, but it was just going to look too crowded if I did that, so I end up not. I have that other wood grain piece, the swirl, that I want to bring to the left hand side of my page to balance out the wooden title, and I decided before I glued it down I needed some leafy bits down there as well. So I'm putting a few on. This one that I'm gluing down now, it kind of reminds me of like a pussy willow branch or something. And I had to be careful where I place this so that you can still lift up the plastic flap that the photos are in. But there we go. So there's wood in both main clusters. Had a little bit of extra glue there, so I was just wiping that off. I did just a little bit of journaling. It just says who the people are and the dates. And then behind the larger flip flap, I did some journaling about the cousin who came to stay. And this is just about done. There are some still shots coming up. Thanks for joining me today. Please be sure to visit Ashley at the Scrapping Nerd. Thanks, Ashley, for this great sketch. And stop by the Beautiful Blossoms Design Challenge blog too. Have a great day. Goodbye.